moguls. Thanks for joining us. We have a dual podcast. We have a special guest. We have Ludon Lee. Silicon Valley Rice Rockets celebrates Asian Heritage Month for developing new technology in Hollywood. We're welcoming Ludon Lee back to the show for part two. Thanks for joining us back for part two, everyone. Hi, Ludon.
Hey, so you got to remind me, what was I talking about part one at the end? So I was talking about New Tech Hollywood and Rice Rocket and how we're a holding company. Is that what we need to do?
Yeah, we discovered that you are born in the year of the tiger, but I also wanted to let everyone know too, this is the year of the ox, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, year of the ox. So the Chinese year of 2021 is the year of the ox. So I don't know too much about that, but hopefully it'll be a lucky year for us. And it says it's more of a lucky year for men and women born in the year of the ox, the year of the snake, the year of the rooster, and the year of the rat. Darn it, I'm a dragon. So anyhow, we're going to talk about Ludon's holding company and how your company is kind of like from your background of video games, right, Ludon?
Yeah, let's I want to give more detail of that, so I let people know what I'm talking about. Okay, so when I got fired with .or at Glue Mobile, Greg Ballard, and the reason why we got canned was because of management changes. Scott founded the company. He did whatever it took. He needed to get a next round of funding. It was time to move on, right? So it was a good thing, right? Because what Scott wanted to do was, which I helped him, was like he wanted to go to Hollywood and work with screenwriters and comic book writers to develop new IP, right? And what I mean by that is like not only you do the video game, but also the movie as well, right? So, and the reason why it was an opportunity for us to pursue that venture was because of the Sony PSP platform, because it was one of the first devices that was pretty advanced during its time when it was Wi-Fi enabled, right? And, you could basically offer movies to download on the App Store, right? Or even video games, okay? From what we know from Silicon Valley, we knew the future of the app with the Apple Store and the Google Store and all that. We just knew the future was coming, right? With the internet. As it was getting more faster and less cheap, right? Eventually that, it was time to catch up where not only that Silicon Valley would do video games, but also do film and animation as well. Okay. So I did that with him, right? And the first guy that we signed was Steve Niles, the guy that did 30 Days of Night, for Sam Raimi, the movie, right? It was based on the comic book that he wrote, right? Along with, I believe, can't think of his name right now, Ben Templeston, I believe, right? And that led to, working with other, Hollywood celebrities, right? Who wanted to go independent, right? And the next guy that we worked with was Thomas Jane, where we signed a deal with him with his Studio Raw, right, to collaborate in developing new IP, right, and one of our investors for D2C Games was actually George Linder, who was the producer for The Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger back in the 80s, right? So we had some, advice given from Hollywood in terms of how we would run things in the future. So this was back in 2005. It's like 15 years ago, more than 15 years ago, right? That Silicon Valley had this vision of like developing not only video games, but also movies, animation, eventually music, digital comics, because how do we consume video right now? Pretty much you and I, right? It's on mobile. There's very few of us, actually sit on the couch, watch TV these days. We basically crash in our bed with a laptop, we watch Netflix all night, things like that, right? So you gotta look at how people consume video, at home, right? Like I said in part one, it's like you look at the movie industry with the theater sales, right? It's like growing every year. In other words, more and more people are going to theaters paying that $15 ticket. It's pretty much the same thing over and over every year. Versus you look at the market opportunity for like Netflix and Amazon Prime and Apple TV of the world, right? It's growing year after year. And the thing is, like, if you're an independent filmmaker and you want to make your movie and you tell your investors, like, great, like, I make my movie, I'm going to get it released domestic, but how do you get international? right? Your distributor, may not have the resources to go global, because they're just still stuck in the dinosaur era of DVDs, right? So, there's a lot of opportunity to attract investors in my world, right? When I say, look, I'm one of the early pioneers for new tech Hollywood in Silicon Valley. It's not traditional Hollywood. We're doing things based on 5G internet in terms of content distribution, right? The challenges I have as a venture capitalist with Ludon Inc. is like the proposals for investments I was getting. It wasn't ahead of its time. It wasn't seeing the future. It was the same thing. I have a great script or I have a great movie project. I'm looking to raise 5 million, right? And I go like, great. How are you gonna make money? What's your distribution strategy? And they pretty much all say the same thing. We're gonna go to like the Toronto Film Festival or the Sundance or the cons, right? And then find a distributor. It's not like a distribution strategy. We're like, you know what? I'm gonna raise additional money for marketing, right? I have a distribution strategy. I have contacts, which I found on LinkedIn, right? You can find me the account manager for Amazon Prime, which I'm gonna rent and sell my movie by streaming, right? I'm gonna do the same thing for Apple, right? And Roku movies and YouTube movies and Sony PlayStation and Xbox in the world, right? And I'm gonna license my film to a DVD and Blu-ray hardware manufacturer, provider. You know what I mean? So there's plenty of those, right? Where they're still in the business of selling DVDs and Blu-ray to Walmart and Target and all that, right? It's for under $10. So there's still money to do that. At the same time, like, you know what, instead of selling your rights to a global distributor and license it, you just keep it for like you have it for X amount of years while you get an advance and you collect royalties. If they decide to renew your contract, right, you just get paid because that means your movie is selling overseas, right? But that's just a billboard. Think about it, right? If you're able to create a business plan where you're basically breaking even, on your film sales, right? And anything else you make on top of that, like video games, to T-shirts, to posters, to trading cards, to collectible toys, right? It's just gravy. That's where it is. It's like don't focus too much on telling investors like, dude, you're gonna make your money off the film. No, dude, we're gonna make money off the video game. But the film is gonna be a billboard to advertise the game, right? And in terms of your distribution strategy, it's like you don't have to like ask people to pay you $15 to go to a movie theater to see your movie. Just put it on YouTube, where it's global. It's like more than 2 billion people go on YouTube every month, right? So make money on ads, and sponsorships, right? You can get them, right? Versus like relying on a distributor to work with AMC and the Regals of the world to get it distributed on the theater side. It's like how much money you can spend on marketing just to even make money. You know what I mean? You can't compete with the studios in Hollywood because they pretty much monopolize that space. You can't compete with Comcast and Universal and Fox and Disney, and you have Lionsgate and you have DreamWorks. Like, let's be real here. There's only a certain amount of theaters in the U.S., right? There's only a certain amount of films that are released in Hollywood that monopolize the space, right? So if you're independent feature, how many screens you're going to have, right? How much money you're going to spend on marketing, right? Which is required by the theater owners. So, when you talk to investors, it's not really a good strategy in terms of the waterfall effect, right? Because you got paid this much for that, got paid for that. So I learned a lot by being a venture capitalist in terms of who I spoke with, right? In terms of producers in Hollywood, right? So that's why I started Rice Rocket, because like like me along with other people I'm working with in the video game industry, we see the future. You know what I mean? It's not about making money in film or animation, right? It just basically helps offset our costs, which requires a little from our budget to extend the opportunity to reach a broader audience, right? So, how we make our money is the bread and butter is the video game. Where we integrate that with real money gaming for esports and you can win prizes as well. Or it's story driven. We create this multi, franchise universe. How Marvel did it with a cinematic universe, right? You tell one side in the animation of film, you tell the other side of the story in a video game or in a motion comic, or even do a music soundtrack on Spotify, So there's a lot of ways of for the film guys, right? And even for women, who are like never had the opportunity, to actually explore, like, wow, like I could actually take my film and produce an album on Spotify with a soundtrack, and I could like do a web-based game in a merchandise store and sell like photo stills of the movie, or whatever it is, and have a YouTube channel where I sell ads, right? I do a live streaming red carpet event, where people can interact with one another and things like that. So the future is here. It just more of taking all these pieces together, right, and forming a new company, right? So Rice Rocket, it's a holding company, like Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett, right? We have different divisions of the terms.
So we're talking with Ludon, and he was talking about his company, Rice Rocket, which is a holding company. And he gave an example like Berkshire Hathaway. We all know that that's Warren Buffett's company. Berkshire Hathaway is a holding company. And Ludon has amazing live stream platform. I'm so excited for him to tell you about. Like, you can actually see people and hear people and have a chat room. And I think over like, Ludon, do we have you back?
Yeah, I mean, like I showed you, like last month, right? We have a tech platform that we spent money on over the last couple of years. And it was about timing with the pandemic, right? It's like, more and more people are staying home and being interactive online, being more social, right? Beyond Facebook. Because Facebook, when you look at it, right, it's a static experience, right? When you look at the wall, it's just images, right? Very few trailers with that, right? You can like it and you can comment it. It's pretty much not interactive, in real time, right? So the future of social network, we call it social media network, right? Where you're actually engaging in the audience, where it's interactive, such as you can watch a movie in real time and engage an audience, right? Through, think of it as Zoom meets YouTube, right? Anybody can upload a video, which is a feature film or a documentary, whatever, right? Send out an email to the audience that you have, right? And say, hey, we're doing a red carpet event, interactive experience, engage with the director, producers, stars, whoever, right? And pay $10, right? So we own the technology, right? We know how we can compete. Like, why put your movie in the red carpet event, right, with a distributor like Lionsgate for independent film, where that you don't control that. You know what I mean? You don't control how much money you're going to spend on marketing to drive sales for your film. You don't know how many screens you have for your film. When you work with a major distributor, right? Because it's all about the economic market conditions. What else is going on in the film industry, right? What else is showing? Okay. Versus, like, you can basically set the release date, right, with my platform, right? So I'm going to release a horror movie on Halloween at midnight, right? And I'm going to go to Eventbrite and post an ad and sell tickets, right? And I'm gonna show a trailer on YouTube, right? And I'm gonna sell tickets at $10. You know what I mean? Like, you pay me like $100 flat rate, you keep the profit. You know what I mean? So because you're licensing my technology, I don't want a piece of your pie, right? I make money $100 a film. Imagine I get 1 million films, a year, doing this, right? They're basically private engagement of movie parties, right, with filmmakers and audience. You know what I mean? You pay me $100, right, flat rate, right? I get 1 million people. You can do the math. You can do more evaluation of my tech, right? I don't need to get acquired. I don't need to go public. I keep it myself along with my holding company, right? So that's my distribution plan, right, for the creators out there. It's like, hey, now I have a strategy. Like, I have, say, 10 million subscribers on my YouTube channel. Now I do shorts all day long, right? Now I can say, look, I can actually sell $10 tickets for people who love me, right, are my fans who not only invest in my film with equity crowdfunding, right, where non-accredited investors can invest in the film feature, but I also have a sales forecast, right? If I have 10 million people out there, right, and I just take 10% of my subscribers on YouTube, which is 1 million people, right, and I charge $10 a pop, right? That's $10 million in gross sales of my film and ticket sales. You know what I mean? And how much money you spend on your film production? Maybe 1 million, 2 million. How much money you gonna spend on marketing? Right? Maybe 3 million. So you're 5 million in the hole. You're gonna make 100% on your money back, right? Plus another 100% on profit. So that's far more better than like a traditional Hollywood independent film financing model where you raise the money, right? The investment terms is 50-50, which I never knew why, right? And you make your movie and hopefully you get it distributed, right? And your movie decreases in value as year progresses. You know what I mean? So this is what an example of what Rice Rocket will do for the independent film industry is like, look, dude, like we'll provide you with a sales forecast, right? You go out and raise your money, right? And you have to go out to your friends and family for initial seed money, right? Once you get that, you give it to us, we'll raise the rest for you, right? And on top of that, we're game guys, right? So we'll build a game for you. We'll design it, develop it, and publish it, right? We'll integrate your film, trailers, whatever, to promote the video game on our app. We'll do merchandise, and we'll hook up with China, right? Do collectible action figures and sell them on demand, with 3D printing. So there's opportunities for technology, how to converge with content, and that's 5G. You know what I mean? So, another thing we have is lawn chair and food truck cinema, right? It's like it's outdoor social movie experience, right? It's not like you're going inside a movie theater and you're paying $15 and you sit inside, right? And you have to be quiet and you just spend, popcorn and drinks that's overpriced, right? For a family of four, you're going to spend about $100, for a 90-minute experience, right? Versus like, I work out, deals with, local community parks, right? During the warm weather season. It's like a drive-in, but instead of driving the car into a lot, right? You basically bring your lawn chair and you can watch new release of international movies, right? Same thing like a drive-in would, right? But you just bring your lawn chair. And there's food trucks, right? So you can have a variety of food, right? So you're benefiting local businesses, right, who own food restaurants, right, to show up after hours and make additional money, right? And you have the flea market, where local businesses can come and set up, a table and sell goods. You know what I mean? You can have chiropractic service, things like that. So it's like, you think about how like the old days, right, the Chinese night market in Hong Kong, right, evening of this entertainment, right? And you can watch a movie, right? Or you can take some time and go shopping, flea market, or you can eat food, right? And you're benefiting communities, right? You're using local parks. You're actually doing business with the government. Saying, hey, we would like to use your park to do this event, during the summer season. We'll do all the cleanup, we'll do all the security, and we'll bring bathrooms and all that. And we basically want to lease your park, for the summer, right? So, and given that we have different ways of making money, that just dependent on just ticket sales, right? We can offer a discount on our theaters, right? So instead of paying that $15 ticket, you just pay like $8, whatever, right? And kids are free. It's like a drive-in back in the '80s. You know what I mean? So and how we project our movies, right? It's very simple. You basically get a server, you have the movie on a server that's secure, right? You go to Metro PCS or T-Mobile, Verizon, you get a hotspot that's 5G, right? You bring a laptop, right? It's all battery operated. The Wi-Fi hotspot's all battery operated, right? You just plug in a HD screen, right? A projector, right? And it's all 5G. So 5G distribution. So you don't have to, bring a DVD or you don't have to bring heavy equipment, right, to a park instead of a theater. Basically, it's plug and play. And that's beauty of technology. You know what I mean? So the cost to me, the margins are very limited. It's like I'm not spending millions of dollars in terms of this. You know what I mean? I just kind of deal with distributors. I'll be an exhibitor, right? So if I would say, hey, Lionsgate, I would like to, do a all night Hunger Games trilogy, right? And I'm going to do this in Chinatown, in Portman Square, right? And it's going to have like Chinese subtitles on the bottom, right? So you're engaging a new audience, right? And I'll give you 50% of my ticket sales, right? So it's because you can look at the Asian American community, right? Particularly the immigrants, like when we come here, we work hard. We're not really engaged in higher learning, because we can't afford it, because we come here poor, and we have to make our money, and the parents rely on the kids to study hard, get straight A's, and get scholarships and go to like a 4-year school and become something and take care of the family. So given that said, it's like the opportunity for Asian Americans, especially like when you look at the minorities, right? Like Asian Americans, they have the most consumer spending power, right? LA, like freaking like I never seen Asian in Hollywood driving a Prius. They're driving like nice BMWs and Audis. You know what I mean? So with that said, like it's underrated. When you look at the Asian American market, it's like you can do so many things with it. The reason why I think Crazy Rich Asian was so popular and made a lot of money because it was a new experience, right? It's like, wow, now Asian Americans are being represented, and besides that, there was Harold Kumar, right? So then that was successful, became 3 movies, right? So when you look at it, right, it's like, how come Hollywood is not focusing more on Asian Americans, right? Well, I think that's not really their fault because they have shareholders they answer to, right? And they have to bet on what works. That's why they do franchises over and over again because it works, right? Very limited risk versus like taking a new IP, particularly with Asian Americans, and how much money are you going to spend on marketing just to have those ticket sales, right? So when you do look at the risk and reward assessment, it's not really there, right? Because the old Hollywood model doesn't work. Versus like just say the martial club guys, on YouTube, right? The martial art guys, right? They have like over 500 subscribers, okay, and on their YouTube channel, and they do short features to like kung fu demonstrations and all that, right? Stuff like that, or martial arts, things like that. Okay, that's what they're focused on. So you get these guys, right? Say, what, guys, let's do a $2 million film, right? And let's just put $50,000 in a hole to create a short proof of concept, right? A 10-minute short, right? What the film could be, a full feature film could be, okay? And you spend additional marketing dollars helping with the channel, with the public relations, PR, and marketing, right, for search engine optimization. And that $50,000 you spend, you're looking to raise $2 million, right? $1 million on production, $1 million on marketing, and it's going directly to, I said, a YouTube event, right, where you can make money on ads, and also director's cut that goes on VOD streaming. So, they do their thing, right? And they plug in their short feature on their channel, right? And they tell their subscribers, hey, we're raising money, you own a piece of it, right, through equity crowdfunding. Here's a link to our fundraising campaign, right? And all we need, is 20,000 of you guys to give us a minimum investment of $100, right? And you get a free T-shirt out of it, a limited edition T-shirt with our fans, right? And if you like invest like $5,000, right, we'll give you like executive producer credit, and you can hang out on the set. So so that's what another example of new tech Hollywood, right? Because you look at Hollywood, traditional Hollywood, who do they go to for money? Oil billionaires, family offices, corporations, Wall Street, right? You build those $1 billion funds, right? It's no different from those guys versus the normal guys like you and I, right? Who basically make $100,000 a year, who qualify as non-accredited investors to help out our fans, invest, right? So by that, you control your destiny. You know what I mean? So by distribution, you know what to do. You have money for marketing to drive traffic to your channel, right? You can collaborate with sponsors, basically get someone to pay for your marketing dollars for product placement in your film because you're proven on a YouTube channel. Hollywood doesn't do that, because Hollywood, it's all about how much money you can make, and then after that, how much money you can more make, and it's like a sprint. Like that's no way to survive in the real world. It's like, especially in the film and television industry, and that's why it's very cutthroat. In LA, from my experience, okay, versus like Silicon Valley is like you bootstrap, as much as possible to build a demo. Like I said, you spend $50,000, right, to raise $2 million. Right, but you're not going to like the guys that don't know anything about you. You spend 5 minutes talking about who you are and what you do, versus you create a demo and you spend $50,000, right, and you plug it into your YouTube channel and you tell your fans that, hey, you can own a piece of our movie, right? We'll give you like a third of our sales, right? And you're off to the races. You know what I mean? So that's a new model for independent creators. It's not. It's not meant for everybody, because there's creators out there who are really good at what they do, and they basically want a big payday, a big check from a studio. that's fine, you know, like they can do that, more power to them, right? But I'm referring to like the rest of the world out there who never had a taste of Hollywood, who never got their movie made, right? Who have a lot of script to have, right? Who a production company that did a lot of commercials before, but now they want to do feature movies, right? So it's like, you know, New Tech Hollywood is like who's who you know, and how you do business. Like basically, if you have a passion for a creative project, just run with it. You know what I mean? It's like at the end of the day, it's like you tell investors, you know, like even myself, it's like, look, we believed in you, right? We tried our best, right? You know, we did our equity crowdfunding platform, um, and it didn't work out. There was no interest, right? We spent money on marketing. We did our best. But at the end of the day, we only lost $50,000. We didn't lose $2 million. You know, with the Marshall Club guys, right? So yeah, dude. I mean, like this is the way it works. Is that Hollywood doesn't think that, you know? It's because they want to get the big payday. You know, when you look at these like budgets for independent films with prolific Hollywood producers, like why would I pay $2 million for a producer fee? You know, for a $50 million film, it's like I'm making you a millionaire, and these investors like, what's going on here? That's why the investors I deal with in Silicon Valley are much different than the rest of the world because we know tech, we know the future, right? We speculate the market all the time, you know, and that's how we create innovative technology to drive growth, to disrupt things, right? And I think that Hollywood is time for disruption, you know, given with the internet access, right? You know, Netflix was just the first thing, it was the first generation wave, right? Now with 5G, you know what I mean, coming into place, right? Where you have like third world developing countries who are building their economy, right? They don't have like Comcast where they're lay out cable wires all over the country, right? It doesn't work that way. They just set towers and then they have internet access, right? That's the way they consume content. Whereas streaming television, live sports, whatever it is, that's the future, right? And you know, on top of that, you make it social, right? You make it e-commerce. You know, you have a merchandise store. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and so Ludon has so many amazing things. Please check out LudonInc.com, his website. You can see all his amazing subsidiaries like video game, sports, shopping, casino, World Casual Esports League, Superfly Studios, Animation Studios, Player Club Studio, Popcorn Party, Lawn Chair and Food Truck, Music Plus, Music Bar Games, Me DJ Mobile, Ludon Studios, Animation Studios, Horror Vision Studios, because I know you love horror films, and your live streaming, which is so amazing because it's interactive. So you can sell tickets on there and the fans can see each other and hear each other and chat and talk. So it takes like, what is it? The not the party platform, which Twitter and Spotify soon will have that new element where you can hear and talk to people. But Ludon is seeing, talking, hearing, interacting, and writing. So it's amazing, and I would love for Ludon to come back to part 3 and talk about that because we are celebrating Asian History Month with Ludon Lee. And Ludon, can you tell people where they can catch up with you and find out more about what your Rice Rocket company is doing?
Yeah, I mean, like we started making our announcement this month. You know, a very soft launch through LinkedIn. You know, I'm not spending any money on PR at the moment. You know, because how I bootstrap because I'm only engaging to a very limited audience right now with my colleagues on LinkedIn. And I'm just testing the waters and see how it goes. Right? I mean, there's a lot of things that we're working on. You know, that we're building it brick by brick. You know, we're not going to all those companies you mentioned. Yeah, it's in our portfolio, but that's going to be expanded over the next 5 years. You know what I mean? So, you know, for one thing is like I am a venture capitalist. You can check out my website at ludoninc.com, right? The email on the website is outdated. It's no longer in use. So instead, just go to LinkedIn and look me up, right? And add me and send me a message. Say hi. And if you're in San Francisco Bay Area, if you want to get a coffee, whatever,
Thank you so much, Ludon, for being with us today and celebrating Asian Heritage Month and also Island Pacificers. We wanted to say hi to everyone. Thanks for listening and come back for part 2. And next week, we're going to have part 3 with Ludon Lee to continue celebrating Asian Heritage Month and Ludon's company, Rice Rocket, developing new technology in Hollywood. Thank you so much, Ludon. Thank you for everyone for listening.
Bye.